do I have a headache tonight.
Yeah. Happy Wednesday night. Welcome to Paranormal Hangover. Marc is suffering from a afternoon hangover headache from God knows what. No coffee. This is what happens when you don't drink coffee.
Yes, this is true. We can't tell you whose coffee we're drinking just yet.
No.
But we're drinking coffee.
Drinking coffee. We're drinking some coffee.
My God, does my head hurt.
Boom, boom. Well, I'm sure that music didn't help either. Danny, Tiffany, please, please, please hurry so we can play real music. Please help.
Oh, my God. Man, so I'm going to do this show in a whisper because my head hurts so bad. Oh, good Lord.
Well, you know what? I told you I'd make you coffee, and you didn't want to hear nothing of it.
So now I'm drinking my coffee from a great coffee manufacturer who I do believe this time next week we'll be telling you all about who this great coffee manufacturer is.
Yeah.
I absolutely love their coffee.
And hopefully we'll have new theme music for the opening so you won't get bored out of your mind in the first 10 seconds.
So just so everybody can...
Go ahead. Do it.
Just so everybody can paint a picture in their head. We're in a different room of our studio tonight, broadcasting the show. And Lauren is sitting on the floor, and her OCD has taken over, and she's picking up like dust balls and hair off of the carpet of the floor.
Great, nice, real nice.
Oh, stop already! God, it's annoying when you do it. I love it. It's annoying when you do it.
Wow, sharing the love on Paranormal Hangover.
Feeling the flow, sharing the love. Oh, my God. Hope everybody had a great week that we just whizzed by here, and all of a sudden it's Wednesday again.
Yeah, for real.
Oh, my God. Good news. I got a job.
J-O-B-N.
I got myself a job. I'm going to be a sleazy car salesman again, so I'll be starting that all over.
Listen, some people are very good at being salesmen. You're one of those people.
Yeah, great.
Me, I survived 4.5 seconds. I'd be like, you know what? You don't like it? Neither do I. See you later. Go have lunch.
So we had the privilege of spending the weekend at Scaricon with our dear friends John Tobin and Kathy Shabbat. For those of you who don't know John and Kathy, they were the former John was the former founder of Glory Hunt Hounds, and Kathy was, I guess, the administrator, if you will.
Yep.
And we, near and dear to our hearts, they said, hey, let's go to Scaricon. All right, sure, sounds great.
Sure.
So, after driving about 8,000 hours from Gloucester, Massachusetts, out to Verona, New York,
yep,
in the rain, we had a blast at Scaricon. I have to say, I was surprised. It's not what I expected, but I thought Scaricon was a good time.
I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of casinos, so that was like my one thing.
Yeah. I got supervised slot duty. I was able to play the slots for
listen, just because you can take everyone smoking cigarettes all at once in your face, doesn't mean everyone else can. It was the worst.
I have jokes right now.
Oh, yeah, you have a headache? How's that feel?
My head hurts.
Yeah.
It's not, you're talking about things in the face, and I've got jokes. So, but Scaricon was fun.
Yeah, is Flip in the chat room? Cause I'm sure he's making.
Oh,
yeah, I'm sure.
He said no diggity. That's all he said so far.
All right.
But no,
Scaricon was fun.
We had a good time. I became a zombie. Lauren became a zombie. We were in the Syracuse New Times.
Yeah.
You can check that out. Syracuse New Times took some photos of us looking.
That guy was hilarious.
That was pretty funny.
He was like, "Hey, you guys are part of the convention? Oh, can I take some pictures? Yeah, sure, no problem." Talks to us for a good 5 minutes straight, and then he's like, "All right, good, nice to meet you. I just want a chocolate bar."
Yeah, we were in a I don't know, store for the
store.
casino, whatever the hell it was. All the dude wanted to do was buy a candy bar, but I think he figured he'd squeeze some photos out before he did it.
Yeah.
But
ended up being to his benefit.
Yeah, you got to meet Eric Roberts.
I did.
Eric Roberts, he's a very fun gentleman to take a photo with.
He was cool. I like when I'm surprised by celebrities actually being cool and approachable and funny.
Yeah.
That makes me feel good about the world.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm sure if it was his sister, she probably would have eaten me alive.
Well, being a paranormal investigator, I don't like to use the flash on my camera.
Yeah.
So I didn't have the flash on my camera phone, so I took a photo of Eric and Lauren. And then he said, okay, now take one with the flash on. Brand new phone, no idea where the flash is. So now I was fumbling over the flash from my phone, and he decided to make a spectacle out of it, pulling people out of the crowd to try and help me with my phone.
Hey, you. You know how to work? You got his phone?
Yeah, well, nobody else
did.
Yeah, nobody else knows how to use my phone.
No one else has your phone, because everyone in the world has an iPhone.
I figured it out.
Droids. Droids, all of us.
Yes.
It's like Soylent Green. Soylent Green.
Soylent Green. So, and then Freddy Krueger was following us around and playing with my nipple all night long.
Wow. Dude, age appropriate, okay? Children.
Okay.
Children.
Yes. Oh, sorry, Flip. Sorry. I apologize, Flip. He was playing with my breast. No, that doesn't work either.
No, that doesn't work either.
Yeah, Freddy Krueger caught Chip Reichenthal's wife Terry playing with my nipple, because my nipples were apparently hard. So she started playing with it. We looked over, this Freddy Krueger staring at us.
Yeah.
So he came over and decided to use his gloved hand.
He was cool though. I don't know who that guy was. Yeah, I think he was honestly just someone there.
Yeah.
I don't think he was hired to do it. I think he was just a fan, like hanging out.
Yeah, it's possible.
It's possible. I don't know, but he was pretty good. I liked him.
Yeah, he was having fun. He had
Captain
more
Jack
pictures taken than anybody else. Captain Jack. Rick
Martinez.
Rick Martinez as Captain Jack. Captain Crow was dressed as Captain Jack, and he was pretty cool to hang out with. Nice guy. We saw our buddy Vin from Dark Side Inc. was there.
Vin and Danielle.
Yep, they were the sponsors of our Lizzie Borden event. And so it was anyway. It was a fun time. Enough throwing around names and having fun with that. Let's get to some nitty gritty.
I tell you who I know, and you will listen and like it.
Yes, I know this guy. And, this guy
I know
too.
This guy's my best friend. We had
Denny and Tiffany from DT on Wicked Radio. I love those people.
Oh, Denny and Tiffany, those two, they are darling sweethearts.
Do you know, I was texting earlier with Pete Lovasco from Wicked Weather here on DT on Wicked Radio Saturday nights at 8 p.m.
Oh my goodness,
talking to him
that's
earlier
when the
today.
show is on? That is great. Pete's a fantastic weatherman.
He really is. He is, and I love his weather. But we have our guest Josh Hurd coming on in just a little while, not just yet.
Okay.
Josh will be calling in just a few minutes. If you don't know Josh Hurd, you're going to want to know Josh Hurd because, first of all, from what I know from our friend Eric Julian, Josh is a great guy.
Yeah.
Second of all, he's written a couple of really good books.
Okay.
And Josh will be on to talk about those books. And I do believe he's got some news about a documentary project they were working on also that's come to completion.
Well, that'll be cool.
So we'll be talking with Josh about that in just a few minutes. But first, we also want to let everybody know about the big news that we broke yesterday.
I'm having triplets.
What? What?
Can you imagine? Little alien babies?
I'm having a heart attack. No.
We'll both be in the hospital.
We have an event. Da-da-da. We will be doing an event November 15th at the beautiful Ventfort Mansion out in Lenox, Massachusetts.
Known as Ventfort Hall.
Ventfort Hall, yes. It was built by Sarah Morgan, who was the sister of J.P. Morgan. If you all know, J.P. Morgan was a billionaire.
Cajillionaire.
And a pretty important person in this country back in around the turn of the century.
Yes.
And they built this building, and it's been a museum for many, many years. It does have some claims of paranormal activity. I know a few people who have been there, and they've experienced things too. Mm-hmm. But luckily, it's never been on TV.
Yeah.
There are a few people who are getting the chance to investigate it now, so we are going to be amongst the few that are able to do it. The event is November 15th. Brian J. Cano from Scared and Haunted Collector will be our special guest that evening. Mm-hmm. And the tickets are on sale now at mghparanormal.com. There are plenty of hotels in the area. The ticket does not include hotel, but there are plenty of hotels in the area, and we probably will work something out with one of those hotels.
Hopefully, we'll work something out so maybe we can either maybe just get a block of rooms so we can at least all be in the same area.
Yeah.
There are a lot of hotels that are not far from it, so you're not going to have trouble finding a room. Just a matter of, do we all want to be in the same place? So
right.
We'll figure that out.
This is not going to be a big event. There's not going to be hundreds of people there.
Nope.
We're talking about, at the max 30 people, and tickets are already selling. We've already sold a bunch of tickets.
Yeah.
So don't hesitate.
If you're having trouble with the website, harass Marc.
Yeah.
Fully. You can do that.
I can't do anything. I'll just tell you to keep trying. I don't know. I'll just say, keep trying. You'll get it.
A lot of times, but what I'm noticing is a lot of people, and this is not just for our event, but in general, have trouble buying tickets and doing things from their phones.
Yes.
Because websites just don't like connect. So just try it from your PC, your laptop, whatever.
Yep.
Kindle, see if that works.
Keep working. Don't do it from your phone. Do it from something that is bigger.
Yeah.
Anyway, without further ado, we do now believe, so we
have Mr. Josh Hurd.
I do believe Josh Hurd is waiting patiently here to talk with us. Josh, are you there?
I am here. What's up, everybody?
No.
There he is.
Hello.
There he is. Hi, Josh.
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
It is going smashingly, thankfully. If it wasn't, then I'd be pulling my hair out because I have a migraine. So, how are you, Josh?
I'm doing great, man.
Excellent.
Thank you so much for coming on the show here during our Authors Month. I figured, Eric, Julie, and I were chatting, and, he sort of got my ear and said, hey, you got to talk to this guy. I had heard your name, don't know you personally, but I'm hoping that someday our paths will cross and we'll have a chance to sit down and chat and talk a little bit more about, paranormal and life in general.
Yeah, that would be great.
Excellent. You have written a few books, but before we get to the books, why don't you tell America, hopefully there's more than 5 people who are in the chat room listening.
Listen, let me tell you something. There is definitely more people for Josh Hurd, okay, honey?
This is true. We have Eric Julian, and that's one more than we normally have this week. So
No. But seriously, but in all seriousness, why don't you introduce yourself to our listeners and just, do the usual. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a paranormal author, lecturer, and investigator. I've been doing this since I was about 16 years old. After, I got interested in the paranormal after the loss of an uncle who was very close to me, and there was just a lot of weird things, surrounding his death that kind of got me, asking the tougher questions in life, and really starting to wonder what actually happens to us after we pass on. So, and it's been a crazy roller coaster ever since.
Wow.
I feel like that's how a lot of people who are in the field now or in the who are interested in the paranormal now, that's how they got into it in the beginning, but perhaps didn't have the way to didn't have anyone to talk to about it and didn't really know until they were older and started seeing the shows and they were like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was a big thing for me too, is most people didn't even realize that I was into the paranormal up until pretty much I put out the first book, because I just kind of kept it quiet, kept it to myself, because I didn't want to be labeled by some nutcase, So, but now, the paranormal has been kind of thrust into the mainstream as of the last decade or so, which kind of opens the doors for a lot of us, I think. So.
Yeah. Isn't that great? Isn't that great that now so many people are more open to the topic of conversation, that you can actually do research without being brandished like a total nutcase? Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of what I've always said is, it's the paranormal is now something we can talk about around the water cooler at work.
Yep.
Yeah. You still get the eyebrow now and again. You still get people looking at you going, well, how do you do?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that constantly.
It's always that, all right, we all joke because everybody's got the black shirts. You all get your team logo on. Hey, but, we do. People look, they're like, oh, it opens doors, though. People start the conversations. Yeah, some people look, oh, it's campy. You have other people go, wait a minute, I got to ask.
Yeah, exactly. What's the shirt about?
Yeah. So do you have shirts, Josh?
I do. I'm actually wearing mine right now.
I won't tell you that I'm wearing mine too.
It's laundry day.
Marc is wearing his too.
Yeah, I've got our event shirt from Lizzie Borden on right now.
Heck yeah. Well, it's laundry day at my house, so it's I threw this on, but mine says, "Trust me, I'm a ghost hunter." So
nice. You could do all kinds of corny jokes with your name, though. Have you heard about the paranormal?
I went and did a conference. Where the heck was this? This was in Virginia City, Nevada, and that's how they introduced me. Was Josh Heard a Ghost?
Really?
Oh, let's go. Yeah.
Josh
cool.
heard a ghost hunter.
Yeah.
What did he say?
Yeah.
Oh, that's him.
He heard ghost hunters?
So,
yeah, right.
So you got into investigating, unfortunately it was from the passing of your uncle and it got you more interested. What was that profound experience that you had, I guess, as an investigator that sort of reaffirmed everything for you and you went, okay, it's not just all TV, smoke and mirrors. This shit's real. This is really happening.
That was it. I was in college and I got together with some like-minded people, and we saw a few episodes of Ghost Hunters right after it first started airing, and we're like, oh my God, people are actually going to these places and they're actively pursuing these things. This is what I want to do.
Yeah.
Now, I've read a ton of material from all sorts of different authors, like Hans Holzer and, Ed Warren and things like that. So I had a general understanding of what was going on. But I thought to myself, I've seen, 5 episodes of Ghost Hunters. I know what's up. I know enough to know what's going on. So I'm going to go out and pursue these things. I had like $0 to my name, but I had like crappy little toys and gizmos and things like that. But the small group and myself, we went to this old, abandoned, rundown chapel, and it looks like an old barn. And I mean, the place is literally falling apart. It's one single room. It's got a gigantic opening in the front, similar to what a barn would. It's got 3 windows on either side and 2 windows in the back. And of course, the glass has been removed, but the frames are still obviously there. But we're there and we're doing our thing, and the first few times we went out there, nothing really noteworthy happened. But it was on the 4th night that we all went out there that some of the most terrifying experiences of my entire life happened. And that was really the moment where I said, okay, not only, life after death and all this stuff, for sure, but there's another force out there that is, actively trying to kick our ass. Basically what it boils down to. And I'm like, whatever it was that we were experiencing was dark. And I mean very, very dark. And it was, obviously something that Ghost Hunters hadn't touched, that subject, there could possibly be this thing called maybe a demonic entity or something of that nature. And I mean, it really turned the table for me. So that was the initial reason why I wanted to write the book, was it is all surrounding that one location and all of the horrible things that have happened there. So
it seems as though, and please forgive me because I haven't had the chance yet to read your books, because this is all still fairly fresh from talking with Eric and getting to know exactly who you were. But I do plan on it, and Lauren she's fanatical about reading. She absolutely loves to read. So I know for a fact she'll be reading the books, and then she's going to make me read them also. But your first book was When Ghost Hunting Goes Wrong, A Brush with Evil, and then that you followed that up with Haunting the Hunters. Take us through, what, if you don't mind, take us through the experience that happened that caused you to say, all right, I'm writing this book now because I want to share it. Because I have, after reading your bio and learning a little bit about you, I know you're passionate about talking to people and teaching people about paranormal investigating and the right ways to do things. So take us through that. Take us through a little bit of, the experience and why you decided to write the book.
Okay. Basically, like I said, that 4th night that we were all out there, it was odd because, like I said, the structure is full of holes, and like I said, the glass has gone out of the window panes and things like that, but you can still see the haze of the town, through the structure. And, on this particular night, we show up, and it was bright. I mean, the moonlight was insanely bright, but you could not see through the structure. It like somebody shuts the lights off on the dark. It was bizarre and insanely disturbing. So we got out of the car, and we're looking at this, and I'm like, okay, this is way beyond me. Ghost Hunters hasn't covered this yet, so right. I'm out. And so I'm like, why don't we just, call tonight a wash? I felt weird. Like I just did not want to go in there. And we're all standing in the front of the structure, basically just looking in. We hadn't even walked inside. And this girl was crouched down like a catcher in baseball. And she's commenting on the fact that she can't believe how dark it is. But she doesn't even finish the sentence. And she was struck, like, by something. It looked like something maybe hit her in the shoulder area, maybe in the upper chest or something, but she flew backward.
Wow.
She landed on her butt, and she did 2 backward somersaults over herself and was then laying on her face,
Wow.
And so whatever it was that hit her had enough force to do that. And, I mean, that in itself is terrifying. And so, we get her back to campus, and, long story short, for an entire week, she was acting crazy. And I mean not herself at all. She was a straight A student, but she never went to class. She never, ever met with us once for a single meal. We always ate our meals together because, we're the freaks on campus that like to go out and chase dead people. But, she never wanted to be around us. Well, we got her, after talking with a pastor friend of mine. He basically said, this is not a demon. He goes, so just throw that away. Get it out of your head. He goes, however, it's what he called an imp. Now, I had never heard the term imp or anything like that before, but the way he described it to me was like the right-hand man of a demon. And I was like, okay. So it can't necessarily possess you, but it can attach itself to you. His general line of thinking was that it was somehow attached to the land or the structure, and the only way it could leave was attached to somebody else, for whatever reason that may be. Now, this was all brand new to me. Like I said, I had no idea. But he said, you're going to have to take her back. Now, I didn't want to go back. I was done with this place. And, long story short, we got her there. And it was not an easy task. But we got her there and ended up having to, open field tackle this girl onto the floor in the middle of this chapel. And in the most chaotic moment that you could possibly imagine, everybody is, saying their own type of prayers and incantations or whatever you want to call it. And it was just very chaotic and bizarre, and she screamed louder than I've ever heard anybody scream before. And then she started to cry. And it was, you could just tell at that moment it was over. And, she lost that entire week. She thought that it was, in fact, the exact same night as it was before. She had no idea that she had been missing class. She had no idea that she had been skipping meals. She knew she felt horrible. She felt bad. And didn't feel like herself at all. So I was, urging her obviously to go get medical attention and whatnot. But, I ended up leaving that school a very short time after that all went down. Okay. And I got together with another group here in Iowa. And I told them, obviously, basically the same story I just told you. And, of course, they're all like, oh, my God, we got to go. I want to check this place out. This would be so awesome. I'm like, yeah, that's okay. I don't want to go.
Yeah.
And,
well, can I just tell you,
I guess.
I'm going to interrupt you for 1 second because I am sitting here going, I want to get into this place in the back of my head. So, but keep going.
It's ridiculous. But we, like I said, peer pressure's a bitch, and so we ended up going back. And it was basically the exact same thing. The first 3 times, not a lot of things happened. You hear footsteps, you hear knocking and creaking and banging and stuff like that, but nothing really 100% noteworthy. And then on the fourth night, again, we experience a black, the blackness inside this church. And I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, guys, this is exactly like before. I'm like, you wanted to know what it felt like? This is it. And then they're like, well, let's try to maybe push it a little farther.
Oh, boy.
And I said, okay, so let's try something. Okay, but whatever. They came up with the idea of maybe a 10-minute ISO session per person. I'm like, oh, God. So that's what we did. And the final person to go in was my friend Blake. And the thing that happened to Blake was just, it's beyond belief. It really is beyond belief. It wasn't necessarily as bad as what happened to the girl on the first team, but it was just as terrifying. He was in there, and you can basically hear what sounds like the floorboards being ripped up, like big hunks of wood being ripped and torn apart, but there's no structural damage being done at all to the chapel.
Wow.
Right.
I mean, weird shrieks and screams and things of that nature. And, Blake's in there terrified. And I was terrified standing outside. I said, hey, Mike, my friend Mike, I'm like, go run him in this EMF detector real quick, because I didn't want to go back in there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, make my buddy do it. But you hear Mike enter the chapel on this audio recording that we have of this event, which thank God we have this. People would really think I'm nuts. But you hear Mike walk in, and you just hear Blake basically say, I want to leave. So Mike's like, cool, let's get out of here. And you hear an EVP come through on the recording, and it just says two little words. It just says, you're dead.
Wow.
And it was bizarre. But at that moment, then you can hear Mike turn and face like the area of the door, and you can hear him take a step. And then you hear this god-awful choking noise. Well, the noise, whoever's being choked is my friend Blake being yanked backwards by the hood of his sweater, the hoodie sweatshirt that he was wearing, and flying out the window freaking Hollywood style.
Wow.
Like, it was...
You just gave me goosebumps, dude. Wow.
Like, it was... And, I mean, Blake's not a big guy by any means. I mean, but he is also... I mean, he's maybe 120 pounds, soaking wet. But he's also, military man and all this stuff. I mean, he's done like 4 tours in Iraq. I mean, if that adds to any credibility whatsoever, which sometimes it does.
Right.
But all I know is just it was a bizarre experience. And so from that, I wanted to completely put this place behind me. And didn't know an exact avenue to do that, because honestly, this was about 10 years ago, and it's been at least once a week I still am woken up in the middle of the night with horrible, like, nightmares, basically that exact same event going on and over and over and over again. I mean, it's like some weird freaking paranormal PTSD thing that I don't know how to kick, but it happens to all of us.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay, I'm like, this is it. I'm going to write a book, and that's going to be the end of it. So I wrote the book, and then, talking with some friends who do internet, and it's on Roku as well. They do a show. It's called The Ghost Files. Was talking with them, and they said, we would gladly be your crew if you wanted to, turn this into like a documentary. I'm like, oh my God, yeah. So, I mean, it really took a lot of work on my end to get everybody on board with the idea of going back, because my main idea for the movie itself was to retell all the stories with interviews and pretty B-roll shots and things like that. However, taking the original team back for 4 nights of solid investigating and just letting cameras roll and really, really trying our hardest to overcome the fear that we already had, number one, but number two, elicit a response out of whatever was there.
Yeah.
And every single night that we investigated something significant happens, and I cannot wait for you guys to see this. But
I can't wait to see it either.
Yeah, and you just
freaking terrifying.
It, right? Yeah, you just completed this documentary, correct?
We just wrapped 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
So by spring we should hopefully have a product to show.
That's
awesome.
Excellent.
I would hope.
I'm looking forward to it. When it comes out, we'll definitely have you back on too to talk about
that'd be cool.
that and promote it. And
yeah,
that
would be great.
That's kudos to you for going back and getting the original crew back too to go in there.
Yeah.
Now are they the original crew? Are they all like investigators now too, or do they sort of get away from it? What are they up to?
For the most part, most everybody has pretty much shied away from it. However, I do have a friend, Nathan, who still does a lot of ghost hunting, and he's actually an author as well. He's just currently working on his first book, so.
Good.
But he still actively pursues these things. Most of the other people just don't at all. That girl that I was telling you about, she wanted absolutely nothing to do with the book. She wanted nothing to do with the film. And she doesn't even mention the word like ghost hunting at all.
Wow. Wow.
Which I don't really blame her, I guess. But.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, some people are hardwired to handle situations like that, and some people just aren't. And that's just how it is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I guess until it happens to you,
yeah,
you just don't know. You think you're going to handle it.
Well, it's like survival. I mean, until your car is sinking in a lake, how do you know how you're going to handle trying to get out?
Yeah.
Are you going to be the one that panics and tries to I mean, just
exactly.
Right? So, are you going to forget you have the little hammer thing to knock out the windows and try and you just never know.
Well, again, I'm sorry, this is going to go off on a tangent here, but that human instinct, that human reaction, it goes hand in hand, not to tie your books or your experience into this, but it's like the movie Saw.
Yeah.
You get into a situation, you panic, but all the tools are right there for you, but you don't see them.
Yeah.
Because you're panicking about what you're going to do, and in an instant like this, you don't know how you're going to handle it until it happens and you get hit in the shoulder and, ass over tea kettle a couple times, and next thing you know, whatever happened to you is actually attached to you, and you lose a week of your life.
Yeah, right.
Unbeknownst to you.
Yeah. I mean, how do you know how you're going to handle that?
I can't blame her. Like you said, I can't blame her for, wanting to turn away from it and not go back and ever think about it or talk about it again. Mm-hmm. But then there's people like us who go, I got to get in there.
Yeah, who go, okay, that really sucks. Well, now 6 months later, when are we going back? Yeah. But wait, I have a question for you, Josh. You also speak to, you do lectures for children. What do you talk to them about, and how do you go about explaining paranormal investigating to them?
Most of the time they're mostly interested in the fun little toys and gadgets and what I call geekometers, But so for the most part, that's what they're interested in. And I remember being that age, and I mean, hell, I still act like I'm that age. But I mean, it's a matter of not lying to them. Mm-hmm. I think, and trying to be as honest as possible without scaring the holy hell out of them. That's, one thing that I don't want to do.
Right.
I don't ever want them to be scared or anything like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just try to be as honest as possible with them. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess what I'm asking is also who approaches you and says, "Hey, I got 28-year-olds I want you to talk to." Who,
and that's a lot of here in Iowa. Last summer, they always do a big statewide summer reading program for all ages. And there's little kids, middle school kids, and then bigger kids. And this year, or this past summer, it was called Under the Surface. So, I mean, there was a lot of archaeological type stuff, but then they also had me come in and talk about, ghosts and things that we can't see,
Yeah.
And so that was a lot of fun. But yeah,
cool.
I was approached by many different libraries to do that. So
nice. I like hearing that.
Yeah. You struck a chord with Lauren. Lauren's an archaeologist, so you struck a chord with her there for a second.
It was very cool stuff.
Well, that's something that I think we need. I don't want to say we need more of, but more people need to pay attention to.
Yeah.
I'm very big on talking to people whenever they ask you what do you recommend? What would you say to somebody just trying to start out? How would you do? I always start off by saying, well, you do a lot of reading.
Yeah.
Learn about what you're getting into, because you don't until you read. It's history.
Yeah.
Until you read what others have gone through and done, and how they've gone about it, and proven ways to do it.
Yeah.
You can't possibly even think about starting to do something, because you've got to read the stories. You've got to know that when you go into a location, this might happen.
Yeah.
Or this can happen to yourself, and for tools to use, and I always express to them, if you can, find a reputable group and see if they'll apprentice you and bring you along and teach you the right way to do things. And then, if you want to go off on your own after you've done all that, that's your choice.
Yeah. Listen, we're not Da Vinci, right? We're not Newton. Go out and pick up a book and figure it out. Read it. Read about it first. You know what I'm saying? It's
very true.
I'm not gonna read Judy Blume, and all of a sudden I'm like, I know how to talk to like 14-year-old girls, and I don't know how to write a book. It doesn't work that way. But it's just.
Well, it amazes me, because we all need, first of all, you're not going to bring somebody into you're not going to go, okay, I'm going to fix this sink without the right tools and without reading about how to do it first if you don't know how to do it.
Wait, but there are the how-to books that my stepfather used to get when I was a kid. What was the name of the company that made those books? Like Time Life, like how to fix your plumbing or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's a book. It's a book telling you how to do it.
Exactly.
If you don't have those, and you don't, what makes you think that you're going to go out and connect with spirits and do it safely? Yeah. If you don't read about how other people have done it first.
Right. And learn and learn from their mistakes.
Exactly.
And try and
Exactly. But I'm being told
that was the biggest thing that I was trying to do too. Is this is basically how not to go ghost hunting. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
But that's just it, though. And again, I mean, it wasn't yesterday. From what I can see, it looks like it was a while ago. So you learned, how to do things by fire.
Yeah.
And you didn't take it, though, and say, you know what, I screwed up. Oh, well. No, you said, I screwed up. I learned from it.
Yeah.
And you should, too.
Yeah. And in a way,
right,
people
exactly.
Say, yeah. And then people say paranormal investigating isn't a science, but in a slight, tiny, little kind of way, it is for the people who are serious about it, because you record everything you've done, you go back and you say, okay, here are my variables, here are my constants. What am I going to do differently this time? How am I going to prove this? How am I going to prove that? Or how am I going to make this happen?
That's exactly my biggest point.
Right?
That is what I always say to people. I'm like, look up the definition of insanity. And that's, trying to get a different thing after you've done the exact same thing over and over and over again. Trying to get a different response from something. It's ludicrous.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Now, Erica Julian is telling me I need to ask you about Villisca.
Oh.
I didn't want to go there, but he did, so let's go there.
I'm telling you. I've now stayed in Villisca 5 nights. And it seems like every single time there's something that happens. I mean, my God, the very first time I was there, we had this trip planned. It was on the books for like 6 months prior. And we went there, and I was sick. I had a horrible cold, and I felt terrible, and then I took too much cold medication, so I was a little loopy at the same time. So I'm like, this is just not good for anybody. And so they have this little couch that's in the main living room area of the house, and it's like, I mean, no lie, it's probably the most uncomfortable couch on the planet. But I laid down on this couch, and I said to the rest of the team, if something happens, wake me up. I'm just going to try to sleep for just a minute, just a little bit. And everybody went upstairs. Well, it felt then like I was being tickled on my side. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I roll over and swing my arm because I thought it was my friend Mike messing with me, so I was just going to smack him. And my arm met the side of the couch. I was like, there was nobody there. And I'm like, this was bizarre. And so that was my introduction to, into the Villisca house. I was like, holy crap.
Wow.
And then it was my friend Nate, running down the steps. It was not even a minute later, saying, oh, my God, you have to come upstairs and check this out. We're playing catch with this ball with somebody that's not even there. And it was bizarre. It was amazing. Wow. So if you guys ever get a chance to visit the house, I would highly recommend it.
Wow.
I would love that. It seems to me like Josh's Villisca is like your Houghton, Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Houghton.
Houghton, however you want to say it. Yeah, the Houghton Mansion's like that for me, where every time I go, I haven't had anybody play catch with me without being there, but every time I go, I have some sort of an experience that I walk away and I'm like, I've got to come back here again. And
exactly.
Yeah.
And that was.
Go ahead.
That was my whole thing with writing that second book, that Haunting the Hunters, was basically what the Houghton Mansion is to you. Villisca is to me. It's these locations that seem to call out to us. You get that itch, you want to go back.
Yeah.
But why is it? Why is it that they seem to just freaking call out to us all the time?
Yeah. Yeah, what is it about you that makes them just scratch at you, itch at you all day long?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is and I don't want to say it's all the time, but you get a little bit of downtime and all of a sudden you're like, I got to get back into Houghton. I want to go back and get down in the basement and talk with Laura and it's that the thing with Houghton Mansion is this purported to be a little girl in the basement who's about 5 or 6 years old, somewhere around there, and people have seen her. She's manifest before to other people, but that was my first experience with hearing a disembodied voice.
Yeah.
And hearing this little
awesome.
Playful, just this voice where you go, who the hell was that?
Yeah.
You look around, and the people you're with and what they sound like and where they are, and you're going, that was a little girl.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
It's just that experience alone for me, I just want to know why. Why is she there? Why is she in the basement and not anywhere else in the house? Why is it that she stays there? What is it about the basement?
Yeah. Well, then my question becomes, Josh, for Villisca, was that the first, because you've been there so many times, did you have a paranormal experience at Villisca that was comforting to you? Or that wasn't wretched and evil and disturbing like the experience you had in college?
Yeah, the tickling thing and, rolling the ball back and forth, that seriously, it felt then, I wasn't a father at the time, I am now, but it felt like I was just playing with the kids. Mm-hmm. And that was, it was fun at the same time as being, not terrifying, but, it kind of breaks your heart a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you're like, these kids, they're just kids. They had no idea what was going on. There was no reason for them to die so young, and, they had their entire life in front of them.
Right.
And then it was cut short. And they're still here. For whatever reason, they're still here. And it kind of breaks your heart a little bit. But like I said, the experiences themselves were very cool.
Yeah.
And that's almost what draws you back, because that's what draws Marc back. It was a comforting feeling. It was, if he got, thrown down the stairs and the crap kicked out of him by God knows what, he wouldn't want to go back. Or he might want to, but it wouldn't be like, it wouldn't be like calling to him. Like, I want to go back and hang out there. It would be like...
I'd be going back in.
You go Bagans in it. You go Bagans in.
I'd be walking through the door going, hey, remember me? You threw me down and kicked me. Guess what? I brought a priest and a demonologist with me. What are you going to do now?
Now what?
Well, what?
Like, come at me.
Come at me, bro.
Exactly.
And I think if we're doing something right, we all end up with those experiences where, like you said with Velisca, you get that not necessarily comforting feeling, but that feeling that, hey, these are children. Why?
Yeah.
They had their whole life ahead of them, and what's keeping them here? And I love asking the questions, and I'm sure you probably do the same, because it sounds like you're this type of guy. But I love asking those questions. Can you see other spirits or other children that you're with, and are you playing with them?
Yeah.
Right.
Do you still get to do that? Do you still get to see other kids and play with other kids, or interact with other spirits when you're gone, or is it just when you want to, you see the living? I don't.
Yeah.
Again, these are all answers we all need.
Yeah.
We're never gonna get them, but we'll keep trying.
Right? We'll do like flatliners.
We'll try like hell, though.
we'll try like hell and do what we can to try and solve it. And we all want the same thing, and we all need to be on the same page when we're doing it. And you're definitely one of the good guys in the field. And if
thank you for that.
Well,
it's true.
Yeah, and I'm sincere when I said I do hope that our paths cross and that we get to meet each other and get to talk on a personal level instead of a radio entertainment level and letting the world know about your books, which they do need to get. By the way, before we forget, why don't you tell everybody where they can find your books?
My books are available on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and the iBookstore also carries them as well.
Nice. Okay.
And are there Kindle versions?
I think they're around I have a Kindle version and Nook, different things like that. I think they're around $6 maybe, something like that. I don't remember exactly what they are.
Yeah, if you're on Amazon, you're pretty much on Kindle too, so I'll be uploading Josh.
Yeah.
Oh, it's really cool that you took those experiences and you put them into a book, and you're also using those experiences to teach other people and lecture about what happened, so that they don't make those same mistakes. Yeah. And they can learn from your experience. Yeah.
Cool.
And I think that was my main purpose with the whole thing, is just let's show somebody, especially with the documentary, let's show somebody the things that you're not going to see on television. Yeah. Let's look at it from that angle.
Yeah.
So.
Let's look at everyone chugging Red Bulls at midnight because you have 3 more hours left of investigating and research to do.
You would not believe. I still have this box full of empty cans of Red Bull and I think there's Mountain Dew and stuff like that. Oh, it's ridiculous. The amount of money that we spent just on Red Bull alone.
Give me the most sugariest crap you have. I need to stay up for the next 3 days.
Well, and making a movie, we dumped all this money into making the movie and all of this other type of equipment rentals and things like that, and then it gets to the point where you're like, oh crap, I have to feed all these people too.
Yeah.
Now there's pressure because we're all smelly, hungry guys. And we all want to eat a lot. Well, people at McDonald's and things like that were nice enough to give us these gift certificates, for Big Macs and things like that. So we did not eat healthy at all. It was ridiculous. The diet that we had, it was horrible.
Tag, my stomach grumbling. Tag, my stomach grumbling. Tag, a burp. Tag.
Tag McDonald's at 2
a.m. And that was another thing. I was like, oh my God, we're literally, a good 15 minutes away from any restroom as well. So be mindful of that.
Yeah. Well, so what else do you have coming up? I know Eric's giving me cue cards here in the chat room, letting me know that you're going to be at Buffalo Terminal coming up next month. So what else do you have going on?
Yeah, that will be October 4th, I believe. In Buffalo, New York. And then after that, it's going to be literally just editing and writing the soundtrack and everything like that for the film, and planning a little mini tour for the movie. You know, I'd like to take it to a few of the paranormal conventions and see if we could maybe show it there at a few of them as well. I think that would be really cool. I'd love to get feedback, as much feedback as possible from, you know, the paranormal community. So
yeah, that would be very cool. And just so you know, if you need any soundtrack help, me and John Tobin do a wonderful soundtrack.
Oh God! You'll have to. I'll share the video again on my page, Josh, and you'll have to see it. It's something we did at I don't know what 2 a.m. and Super 8 Motel during Scaricon. So it's not a porn. Just so you know, it's not a porn.
It was one of those types.
In all seriousness, though, that would be a really cool thing to do to kind of like do the pre-screening and have, you know, people's opinions, and I'm sure they'll all be good. You know, I'm sure you're not going to get too much negative feedback about a true story.
Right.
What are people going to say? You know, so, but I think that's a good idea. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, I think it would be a lot of fun. I think it would be.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Lauren's going to kill me after I get off the air with this tonight, but you know, just listening to the story and what you have to say and the things you're doing, you know, we're going to be doing an event at Fort Mifflin in May.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to have you there. I'm sure we'd love to have you there, and you know, set you up, and you can do a lecture if you're interested. We can talk about it more off the air. We'll send an invite to you. So
why would I kill you for that? I'm totally into that. Really, seriously.
But
totally into that.
No, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, we're gonna do it's gonna be an all-day sort of con style event with vendors and some lectures and workshops and things like that.
Yeah.
And you know, I think the guys from GBSG are gonna be there too. So it'll be fun to have everybody around. Cool. And yeah. It'll be cool. We'll talk about it some more off air sometime soon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. So before I cut you loose here and turn you away for the night, is there anything else that you'd like to mention or talk about? And well, you've got everybody's ear to do that.
I think honestly, we covered it all, man. I think we did good.
Nice.
Yes.
We did our homework. We got an A. We did our homework.
Oh man, well, it was a pleasure having you on, Josh. I do want to talk to you.
Thank you guys so much.
No worries, man. Yeah. Thank you very much for doing what you're doing.
Thank you for an awesome interview too. Very cool to hear about all the things you're doing, and I'm happy to like dive in, read the books, see the documentary when it comes out.
I'm excited.
It's gonna be cool. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me.
Thank you,
Josh. You have a good night, okay?
You too.
All right, man. Bye-bye.
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 All right.
That
was awesome. Josh was great to talk with. He had some really good stories.
Yeah.
You know,
freaky stories.
Yeah.
Kind of scary, but intriguing at the same time.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because we've been doing this for several years now, and you know, and I know we all want to have that type of an experience or something similar to that, where you get that forceful, okay, shit's going down, something's different, this is real, and I have yet to have that. Mm-hmm. I'm very jealous that it seems like everywhere he goes, he gets that.
Yeah.
But you know, it was good to have Josh on. I'm thankful to Eric Julian for turning us on to him and letting us know.
You're super swell.
No fun this work.
I gotta say though, I am not one of those people. I'm not like, hit me, punch me, throw me around, kick my ass.
You are, mean, I'm sorry.
Oh!
I forgot you were talking about investigating for a moment.
Ooh,
go ahead.
You're getting naughty now. It's almost 8 o'clock. Got your naughty shorts on. No, but I don't like that. If something happens, okay, and I'll figure out how to deal with it afterwards, and I'll like step by step. But listen,
sorry.
I can fall down the stairs on my own. I flail enough that I don't need an entity pushing me. Okay, I don't need a little Rumpelstiltskin thing following me around, trying to hurt me.
This is a true statement.
Thank you. How many times did I play out tonight and almost destroy my laptop?
Oh, my God.
Like 4 times at least.
And you were sober.
Snapple literally almost killed my laptop 4 times.
Very close. This is very close.
But point of the story is, you will, I don't say ask for it, but if it happens, you're like, great, do it again. Let's figure this out. Me, I'm like, I don't know if I like that. Yeah. I'm not into that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna do it again, do it. But and now I'm prepared for it. So.
And that's fine. Listen. To investigate, you don't need to have to be gung ho.
Yeah.
Do everything to me. There's plenty of people that in this field that don't want that and don't need that.
Yeah.
But they want to find answers. They want to interact. I don't care what anybody says. Nobody's in it for the science alone. Mm-hmm. Nobody's in it just to get evidence and get out. People are in it because they want to have that experience.
Yeah, they want to feel it for themselves and hear it for themselves and see it for themselves. Yeah.
In the back of everybody's head, they want to turn that corner and see something there.
Yeah.
In the back of everybody's head, they want to walk through where an attack supposedly happens and have it happen to them.
Yeah.
It's yes, everybody wants the EVPs, everybody wants the video, everybody wants, but you're doing it because you want to know firsthand this happened.
Yeah, right.
We don't, nobody walks into, I don't want to say nobody, the majority of people do not walk into, some crazy haunted location. Like, nobody walks into Bobby Mackey's and wants to get an EVP.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you something. If you walk into Bobby Mackey's, guns blazing, you're going to get your ass kicked by whatever's in there. Because I don't even want to go to Bobby Mackey's, to be honest with you. I'll let you go in. You can have as much fun. I will hang out in the parking lot and drink beers with Florida Georgia Line or whatever the hell that name is.
Florida Georgia
But
Line.
you can go in there and do whatever. You and Dom and Mike and MJ, and you go in there and do your thing. I'll hang outside and eat cheeseburgers.
Oh, that's fine.
I
don't mind. I don't want. Listen, Dom. If you're outside eating cheeseburgers, Dom's gonna be outside eating cheeseburgers. Shut up, British lady. I know there's 90 seconds left in the show. Dom's gonna be out there eating cheeseburgers with you. So you can't get outside and eat cheeseburgers without Dom being there. So.
Probably more will happen to me outside by myself than you guys inside. It'll be like, she's alone. Yes.
Oh, man. But anyway, we want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. It was a great show. We had a lot of fun.
Good interview.
Josh was an awesome guest, and definitely got to check out his books.
Yes. Hunting the Hunter.
Yep.
And When Ghost Hunting Goes Wrong.
Yep. A Brush with Evil.
Sorry.
A Brush with Evil. By Josh Hurd.
Josh Hurd.
Just like I heard the noise.
Yeah.
H-E-A-R-D. Josh Hurd.
You heard.
And he's got some great stories, and I've got a feeling he's got a lot more that we didn't hear tonight.
Yeah.
So,
and a lot more coming. So.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Documentary coming in the spring.
No, I mean a lot more. This guy's got a good head on his shoulders. He's got a lot coming.
Awesome. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in tonight, and we'll catch you all next Wednesday.
Peace out, home fly.